Hi everyone, my name is Kylie Welsh and I'd like to welcome you to our Business Success Series, where we're bringing you valuable tips and strategies to help make your business more profitable. Now today I wanted to talk to you about the power of audio. With audio, it's one of those areas that people sometimes don't necessarily give a lot of attention to, but it can be very, very effective, especially if you don't feel like you're ready to do a lot of video work on your website. Audio is another fantastic way of communicating or connecting with your audience as well. I'll give you just a quick example of this. When I was looking for a business coach at one stage, I went and I had a look at all these different sites, and everyone sort of says the same thing, and I was thinking, I don't know if this is, I'm not really overly impressed with a lot of what I'm seeing. But then I went to a site where this gentleman had an audio recording of a group coaching session that he was in. Literally went for probably 2 or 3 minutes, and I was really blown away after that recording because I had the opportunity to hear his voice in that, but more importantly how he interacted with people and how they interacted with him. And that was a very important lesson for me because I'd never really thought about the power of audio. And at that time, I was quite new to the whole concept of creating products. So, I was sort of feeling a little bit overwhelmed, and audio was a great place for me to start. So what I initially started with was when I was working with clients and they needed information, and I thought that it was information that perhaps, would be used across a couple of different clients. Let's say we were working on an ebook and they wanted some help with, how to structure a paragraph or something like that, then I would actually record that and send that through to them on an mp4, and that's how I started. And I recorded that using a program called Audacity, which is a free program, very easy to use, and you can just record yourself talking into it and create an mp4, which you can then either put on your website or use for your clients. But that was a really good introduction for me. But then I thought, actually, I wanted something a little bit better and something that perhaps would potentially tell my story a little bit more. So I approached someone and said, would they be interested in interviewing me? And for that, I used Instant Teleseminar, which is very cost effective. I think it's about $50 a month, but you can even just do a free trial initially, and there's probably other ones out there as well that you can do for free. But basically you dial in, you use an international phone card and you can dial in and you can either interview people or be interviewed. Now, I at that time was really just wanting someone to ask me some questions so I could create a product, and it wasn't going to be a product for sale, it was really a product that would tell people a little bit more about my story. And I also had a masterclass coming up that was all around information products, so I wanted to be able to link into that somehow. So I've actually got the document here, which I'm just going to refer to, that I sent through to this lady who I was doing the interview with. Now, at the time, it was pre-recorded, so we just organised a time. I sat down and I wrote down my introduction, how I wanted to be introduced. I then wrote down some statistics and information about women in business that I thought were quite compelling and that would sort of generate interest in whoever was going to be listening to it. I didn't know who that was at the time. And then I actually went through and sent her through some questions. And I'll just go, I've got the introduction here, then I've got topic and description for her, which is all about becoming a credible expert and generating profits as a result. And then I've got a list of questions that I went through, things like how do women in business build credibility? Why do so many women lack writing confidence? Why do female businesses earn only 30% of the profit that male-run businesses do? What is a sales funnel, and how exactly does that fit into relationship marketing with your website? What products are easy and cost-effective to make? And then I went through some information on the Monetize Your Expertise masterclass I had coming up. So now, that may seem a little bit contrived, but really I wanted to put my best foot forward, and I wanted to create a product that I was going to be able to give to many, many people. So I actually spent nearly a whole Saturday sitting down, working out the questions, going through the answers, rehearsing them, so that it was very, very well organised by the time I actually got to do that. But I didn't want to do an interview and it sort of be okay. I wanted to do an interview that really, demonstrated my expertise very well. And I tell you what, I was really, really pleased with it. And I was so glad that I put a lot of work into it, because you could tell my answers didn't sound rehearsed, but they were considered, and that's the difference. So that for me worked very, very, very well, and I thought at the time, geez, this is so much work, I don't know if I'd do this again. But the thing I realised was that once I did the work once for that, then I had this document with all my questions and answers that then I could then send out to other experts with databases and ask them if they'd be interested in interviewing me. But more importantly, when I was then asked for an interview, I was already 3/4 of the way there. Obviously, you're going to change your questions and perhaps your responses depending on your audience, but the majority of what I wanted to talk about, my story, my areas of expertise, how I think I can help women in their own business, that was all down on paper. So I would just literally have to go over that and refresh it again. So I hope that gives you a good idea as to how effectively you can start creating your own products. And, as I said, for me, these weren't even products for sale. These were just products to demonstrate my expertise and connect with my audience in quite a powerful way. And they have worked extremely well. So I'd like to see you guys trying the same thing.